What We Do in the Shadows, the Taika Waititi adaptation from his film back in early 2010s. Now in
2014, I think. It's kind of
2014,
kind of recent. Yeah.
5 years, half a decade, crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and into a 10 episode TV show. So we got Jermaine Clement at the helm of this thing, Flay the Concords.
Yeah.
You know,
Also in the
we
original movie.
yes, and we talked about this as an anticipated movie or TV show for the year, something we were looking forward to. Haven't really talked about it much on the pod. What was your overall thoughts on this season and just kind of, I think, this brand of humor in whole?
Yeah, I think right away it you either get on board or you're not going to really vibe with it because the show doesn't really change throughout the season. It's kind of the same thing the whole time, but I think it's actually just it's kind of like really well realized in terms of what they're trying to do with these vampires living in the real world and fish out of water story tropes and whatnot. So if you like that and like the pilot like kind of hooks you, then all the ridiculous things they do throughout the season will be amusing to you. And that's where I was. I actually thought it was quite funny because it's a short show. It's like 20 something minute episodes. It's pretty light, but also just unique enough that I think it's pretty pleasurable. What about you?
I agree that the show doesn't change much throughout. However, I found myself a lot more in the middle. There were some episodes where I didn't really find myself grabbed too much, but there are others where I was all in. Like the what was it? Where the council scene, I think it
Yeah,
was, or the
the
council
Vampire
episode. I
Council.
thought hilarious,
Dark
and
greetings.
seeing seeing all, Tilda Swinton pop up, Danny Trejo, all
Yep.
of like those different people pop up as being on the
Wesley
council was just,
Snipes.
yes, just
Meta as
like
fuck.
hilarious. Taika Waititi was also in there. Dave
Yeah.
Bautista was one of the imprisoned people. Like I thought
Paul
like those
Rubens.
episodes, or when Nick Kroll was in
Yep.
the nightclub episode, I thought
Manhattan.
those, yes, I thought those people injected an energy into it that the show kind of sometimes could fall into this very I don't know, the same lull, so to speak, that
Mhm.
I think lost me at times. But overall, I thought that this was a really fun first season, and I'm looking forward to them doing more. Um, you know, uh, the orgy episode is probably my favorite of the season, though, and that didn't really have many like guest people in it. Kind of contrast to what I'm saying, but I just felt like Matt Berry in that one got to
Yeah.
kind of shine more, whereas I feel like Kayvon Novak really carried a lot more of the funny moments for me early in the season. Him and Guillermo had a great chemistry together, and I really liked that Matt Berry got a chance to really like show off in that one.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Matt Berry had lots of funny one liners throughout the season, but I was actually kind of unexpectedly Mark Prost, who plays Colin Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
the Daywalker, the energy
The
vampire,
energy vampire, yeah.
and then he gets like a bottle episode of sorts early in the season at his office.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whenever he's in, it's just like lots of cool physical comedy because he can't fly, he can't turn into a bat, he can be out in the day, all that stuff. So because he's different than the other vampires and looks and dresses like a normal person, it's just easy jokes. Doug Jones is the Baron. Obviously, Doug Jones is
Mm-hmm.
playing a character in heavy makeup and prosthetics. Shocker there. Um, I was happy the Baron didn't last throughout the whole season, just
Me too.
because I don't know. He was like almost like too serious for the rest
Mm-hmm.
of the show. And yes, they were like kind of making fun of him throughout, but I was kind of happy he had his arc, I guess if you could call it that.
I
Did you
do
like?
love the before you move on from the Baron, I do love his arrival when he just like comes out of the coffin and just immediately like sucks all the blood out of their like whatever that was, that familiar keeper or
Familiar?
whatever it was.
Yeah,
Just destroys her, dude. It's hilarious.
and
Like
then he
blood is
goes back
spraying.
to sleep in like 5 minutes.
It's so good. What were you gonna say though?
Yeah. Did you like that? Like, there's like a documentary crew filming it, and there's a lot like Novak often will look at the camera and just give it a nod.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's not like Fleabag level like fourth wall breaking, but because like they even have like confessional scenes where they're talking to the camera and talking about stuff. I think it just kind of helped frame the humor and absurdity of everything. So, I mean, did you like that?
Yeah, I think that that can be a choice, a narrative choice that can be hit or miss. You know, like The Office is probably the best example of that being a hit. Parks and Recreation, but I thought that that actually added a lot to the show, and I really enjoyed a lot of their interviews. Thinking back to the orgy episode, which is on my mind for some reason as we're talking about this, when they were talking about vampire orgies and framing that for the episode and like what the stakes were for the episode, so to speak, and how if you have a bad one, you know, like it's talked about for thousands of years and you never get to live it down. And I really felt
Yeah.
like, and they were showing like these pictures and that really added to it. And I was like, this is just a really great way to like add in these little jokes and these little things that add so much to the episodes,
Mhm.
and it's a simple choice, you know, it's easy to do. So I thought that was great. Overall, I thought the show was a really big success. And FX, you know, I think they've had some shows come out that haven't been what they want them to be, and I think we'll be talking about that a little bit in the coming weeks with Fosse Verdon, which seems to have been um, not as big as they were hoping it would be. But What We Do in the Shadows seems to be an absolute hit for them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out the werewolf episode. Thought that was really funny. The animal
Hmm.
control one, just all the Staten Island digs I thought are really funny if you understand New York City. And overall, you know, it's cool that they don't like they show them being vampires pretty frequently, whether that's them flying or hovering around or sucking people's blood. Like they don't skimp on that, which I think was which
Hmm.
is good. You know, they do feel like fantastical creatures in the normal world, which is I think important to make the jokes work. Also, shout out Beanie Feldstein, just kind of being a bit
Yes.
player in the season. I just saw her in Booksmart, and it's definitely uh, he's asked less of in this season. Hopefully, she gets to do more in season two as her profile has risen. But I thought so, even in her limited screen time, she was still pretty funny.
Yeah, I really liked the episode where Natasha Dimitrios Nadja was kind of like teaching her how to be a vampire. I thought that episode was
It's a good
fantastic, and she got to really shine in that. And like the weird bat that she turns into is just like
yeah,
I I,
gargoyle.
I literally like spit out my water. Yeah, as I was drinking. It's hilarious. Um, any last thoughts on What We Do in the Shadows before we move on? Cool.
No, I
Let's
think it's definitely worth it and easy to get through. So you can catch up late like we did.